Hi, Great Jones owners. Thanks for joining me for a financial statement walkthrough. Throughout this video, we're going to review each section of the monthly financial statement to learn about the details you should expect to find in that section and answer the most frequently asked questions. So, let's start at the top with your beginning bank balance. Your beginning balance indicates to you the balance on your home as of the first day of the prior month. For example, if you're reviewing your statement for the billing period of June 1st through June 30th, your beginning balance will indicate to you the balance on your home as of June 1st. When you receive your financial statement on the first of the month, your beginning balance will typically be $0. This indicates to you that you neither have open payables on your account, prepaid rent, or a reserve. There are some instances where you might find your beginning balance to be greater than $0. This typically occurs when you have an outstanding invoice that is greater than the total balance, and you have no other homes in your portfolio with a positive balance to contribute funds to satisfy that invoice. For example, let's say you have an outstanding invoice of $400 and the current balance on your account is $258. In this scenario, your home does not have enough funds to cover the entire amount of the invoice. So we'll hold those funds until you have a balance of $400 or greater to fully satisfy that invoice. You may also find yourself with a positive balance if your resident has made a prepaid rent payment that's more than 30 days out from their rental due date. You may also occasionally find that you have a negative beginning bank balance. This occurs in instances where we paid an invoice on your account and your resident has been consistently paying rent over time. So we'll satisfy the invoice in full in advance and await your resident's timely rent payment to bring your account back into good standing. Now, let's move on to the income section of your statement. This section shows you all income transactions for the prior month. You'll most often find monthly rental income paid by either your residents or subsidized payments in this section that total the monthly rent amount for your home. Should your resident not pay the rent in full or make a series of partial payments throughout the month, you'll also see those listed as individual line items here. You may see on your owner statement or owner portal small increments allocated to your monthly rental income. This occurs when your resident overpays by just a few dollars from the previous month, because those payments get automatically applied to the rent charge for the next month. This may result in you seeing rental income of something like 56 cents, such as in this example, and then the remaining balance of the expected monthly rental income in a second and/or third transaction. When all of the rental income is combined, you'll find that it totals the monthly rent rate for your home. But the splits at the transaction level itself are only due to your resident paying slightly more than what was due for the prior month. From time to time, you may also see other transactions appearing in the income section. Such examples may include maintenance or move out chargebacks. These indicate to you that you've been reimbursed for a maintenance or move out item that your resident has been held financially responsible for. Next, we'll review the expense section of your financial statement. This section shows you all expenses related to your home throughout the prior month. Most frequently, this will include monthly management fees and placement fees or prepaid placement fees, aka leasing deposits, if Great Jones just placed a resident in your home or is expected to shortly. Details of these fees can be found in your management agreement in the documents section of your owner portal. You'll also find maintenance or repair charges and utility usage charges in this section. For maintenance charges, Great Jones will automatically approve any necessary repair costing less than the threshold you set in your onboarding enrollment form. Typically, owners set this at $350 to keep themselves out of the fray of day-to-day management. But you're welcome to adjust this at any time by emailing support@greatjones.co. Should you require an invoice for any of these repairs, you can always log on to your owner portal and view invoices from the financial transactions section. For utilities, you will typically be billed when your home is vacant so we can complete the turn on your home and market your home without any delays. When your home is occupied, you may be enrolled with a utility expense recovery provider that will first bill usage to your home's balance and then bill usage to your residence ledger. When your resident makes their payment, you will see a negative expense for utilities. This indicates to you that you have been reimbursed for a utility payment from a prior month. After your expenses, you'll see your net income and losses line on your statement. Your net income and loss amount will always be equal to your total monthly income minus your total monthly expenses. So, in this scenario, with your total monthly income being $1,310 minus $93.59 for your total expenses after your utility usage reimbursements, you'll find that your net income was $1,216.41. Now that we've made it through the income and expenses sections, we're going to move on to the other transactions section. In this section, you'll find contributions and distributions to and from your account and prepaid rent. A contribution is an amount of money that you have contributed to Great Jones to cover an open expense. You'll typically be asked for a contribution in the event that you're turning your home, or you may have a large expense or maintenance item to pay for. This can come in the form of check or money order, electronic payment, wired funds, or if you own multiple properties, a balance transfer from a home with a positive balance to a home or multiple homes with a negative balance. Think of this as overdraft protection for your homes and a streamlined way to ensure your home's expenses are covered without having to request a manual contribution from you each time an expense exceeds one of your home's balances. The key to discerning when this happens and exactly how the contributions get split up across your homes is by following the J reference number found in the reference column of your financial statement. This same J reference number will appear next to the debit with a negative amount and the credit on your home with an insufficient balance in a positive amount. Be aware that for owners with many homes under Great Jones's management, a debit could be split up across multiple homes. When you add up the positive and negative amounts for matching J reference transaction numbers, you'll find that they all balance out to $0. A distribution is an amount of money that Great Jones has paid out to you either by direct deposit to your bank account on file with us or by check to a mailing address you've given us. Whenever we distribute funds electronically, you should expect to see the funds available in your account within 2 to 5 business days from our distribution date. If you've never received a payment from Great Jones to that account before, expect it to take closer to 5 business days due to standard anti fraud procedures that all banks conduct with new accounts. Prepaid rent is a payment made by your resident that has not yet been allocated to a charge because the charge due date is in the future and not in the current month. Prepaid rent does not appear in the income section because it is not yet considered earned rent. You'll notice that prepaid rents may appear in both negative and positive amounts. This depends on if the payment is considered earned or unearned. A payment is considered earned once the payment is due and unearned before that date. For example, if your resident's rent payment is due on June 1st and they made a payment on May 30th, that prepaid rent payment would appear as a debit in your other transactions section and a credit in your income section on your June financial statement, because that payment is moving from a state of being unearned to earned. If your resident also makes a payment at the end of the month in advance of the first of the following month, such as on the 28th in this example, you'll notice that this prepaid rent payment appears as a credit in the other transactions section. This payment is considered unearned and will therefore not be distributed to you until after the due date for the payment has passed. After the other transactions section, you'll notice another line listing your ending bank balance. Your ending bank balance indicates to you the remaining funds at the end of the statement period. For example, if you're reviewing your statement for the billing period of June 1st through June 30th, your ending bank balance will indicate to you the balance on your home as of June 30th. Similar to your beginning bank balance, this will most often be listed as $0, an indication to you that the balance on your home has been paid out to you by Great Jones and you have no open invoices. There are some instances, however, where you might find your ending bank balance to be greater than $0. This typically occurs when you have an outstanding invoice that is greater than the total balance on the home and you have no other homes in your portfolio with a positive balance to contribute funds to satisfy the invoice. You may also find yourself with a positive ending bank balance if your resident has made a prepaid rent payment before their rent due date. You may occasionally find that you have a negative ending bank balance. This occurs in instances where you have an open invoice on your account and your resident has consistently paid rent over time. In those scenarios, we may pay the invoice in full and await your resident's timely rent payment to bring your account back into good standing. The final section of your monthly financial statement is the cash requirements section. Here you will find the total amount required for reserves on your account and the security deposits for your home that Great Jones is holding on behalf of your resident in a non interest bearing escrow account per legal code. Now, what are reserves, might you ask? Reserves are typically only held during your home's turnover or at your request to fund an upcoming large expense. Reserves can be thought of as an advance payment for items that will exceed the total balance on your home, or for owners with multiple homes under our management, the total monthly rental income across your portfolio. When you have reserves on your account, you'll notice that you have a positive beginning balance and a positive ending balance until the total balance on your account is equal to or greater than the reserve amount. For instance, in this scenario, we have a beginning bank balance of $3,517.34 and an ending bank balance of $4,098.68. This owner will not receive a distribution until the balance on their account exceeds the total reserve listed at $5,000. As work items get completed or large expenses get paid for, you will find the corresponding charges in the expenses section on your financial statement, and you will also find that the total reserve amount will decrease accordingly. Returning to security deposits, the key distinction to note here is that Great Jones only holds a security deposit when a resident pays a traditional security deposit. Great Jones also offers security deposit alternatives called surety bonds, in which case the surety bond provider holds the security deposit and Great Jones holds the surety bond, meaning the amount listed will be $0. Surety bonds provide the same function as security deposits in that they cover the owner up to 2 times the monthly rent amount should rent not be collected or resident caused damages be present at the end of a lease. However, they significantly reduce the upfront cost to residents to move into a new home by turning the traditional one-time security deposit payment into a more flexible, affordable monthly payment, all determined by an algorithm that factors in the resident's credit score and monthly income. That concludes our walkthrough of the Great Jones financial statement. We have a growing library of resources for owners in the help section of our website. Visit greatjones.co/help to learn more. Thanks for joining me.